Welcome back, Spartan Nation. Now joining us for the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly podcast is the great coach Chuck Grenier with the Michigan State Spartans. What is your thoughts going through this on the Michigan State Spartan basketball program and where it currently sits?
Well, I think we're going to be losing Tillman. I saw a mock draft the other day, and I think he's rated as the number 30 player in that mock draft. So I know we're going to lose Tillman. That's unfortunate. I would like to see him back another year, but he's got to do what's best for his family. And we have two good recruits coming in, and now with the loss of Tillman, we'll have another recruit coming in, and I know there's some favorites out there to come into this. I think they're going to be very strong next year. I think the recruiting class and what they have there's a couple players on the team right now that I think need to make a very big step, and if they do make that big step, I think Michigan State basketball is going to be pretty good again next year.
Coach, who do you think has to make the biggest steps?
In my opinion, the player that I'm looking for to make the biggest step is Gabe Brown. And in this game, of course, this is a game where you win a game by outscoring anybody. The outside shooting is going to be extremely important next year for Michigan State. And I think Gabe Brown has got to become the consistent, kind of a Bryn Forbes type of player. He's got to be a consistent outside threat. He's got to be able to score 10, 12 points a game. And his defense has got to pick up. His feet have got to be a little bit more agile. I think that's the most important player next year for Michigan State.
How about Marcus Bingham Jr.? That guy has the opportunity to be a legit pro, but he has to get bigger.
Well, the bigger thing is it's going to be a big issue too, but in my own personal thoughts on this and watching him through the season, I think it's more of an attitude than it's a strength problem. You watch him on the floor, and the intensity isn't quite there the way I would like to see it when he gets his opportunity to play. He seems to be, tell you the truth, Condo, he seems to have more fun on the sidelines than people around. It's just the way it looks like to me. But there is a strength issue, but, it's as tall as he is and as long as he is, he can compensate the strength issue, but I just have a question about his attitude towards basketball. It just doesn't seem to be as important to him, just from me watching the games.
All right, that's an interesting perspective on your part. I know Marcus really well, and it's going to be an interesting for me to see this offseason. Coach, for you as you look forward to this basketball team next year, what to you is the biggest question mark, and what to you is the biggest absolute? For example, I think Rocket Watts next year is going to emerge as one of the best players in college basketball. We started to see it as the season came to an end. That's just my personal, to me, that's the biggest exclamation point. For me, the biggest question mark, and that I'm really want to watch closely, is the emergence of a Julius Marble. I'm asking you, what is your biggest exclamation point, your biggest question mark?
Well, the biggest question mark for sure is going to be replacing of Tillman. And I know Tillman gets a lot of praise, and I know Tillman gets a lot of accolades about his playing in there, but I don't think a lot of the Spartan fans just understand just how big of a job Xavier Tillman did for Michigan State. He was just rock solid defensively, rock solid rebounding. His outside shooting could have helped a little bit more. He didn't get a chance to display it as much as he could, but rebounding and the solid defensive post play is going to be the biggest question mark next year. Now, I know they got Joey Hauser coming in, and that's going to help out quite a bit. And Marble showed some good stuff last week. He showed things late in the year, when I wish he would have got a little bit more time. But he showed it later in the year that he can get in there and bang with some of the centers. And that's going to be really vitally important next year, because the Big Ten is a solid basketball conference. And they have big men, and if you can't play in the post, if you can't defend the post, you're going to have a problem. The exclamation point, I know Marcus Watts or Mark Watts, Rocket Watts is going to be a star, just like you said, and where he was just starting to show what he can do. He is an absolute stunning defender. And then he's got an outside shot and the speed and the quickness that he has on the floor. And if the incoming recruit guard can help them out at the point, or if the other guard that they're looking at right now coming in, they can help him out at the point, that kid is going to have an outstanding season too.
I think it would surprise people that I didn't mention Joey Hauser, and I want to tell you why I didn't. Because I've said all year he was the best player on the team. When I talked with Tom Izzo about it at press conferences, Tom didn't deny it. And so when I say I don't put an exclamation point on Joey Hauser, I think Joey Hauser is the best player on the team next year. I don't even think it's going to be close. And to me, it's not an exclamation point because we've been talking about it for a year, even though others have not. How excited are you to see Joey Hauser, just take off for the Spartans?
Oh, he was the X factor last year. If he would have been eligible to play last year, that would have been just a totally different basketball team. And for him to be eligible now coming into this next season, he's going to rebound. He's an outside threat. I think he can play pretty good defense. And to have somebody of that caliber of a player with an outside shot the way that he does, and if we can get Gabe Brown to come along, and Watts is already coming along as an outside threat, that will really open up the inside, the post players, that they don't have to rely on so much for an offensive contribution from those people. I think Joey Hauser is going to be an eye opener for the Big Ten, I think.
Yeah, I think that he has an opportunity. I don't think he'll be here for his entire eligibility. I think he'll move on to the pros. There's no pressure at home. He's not a guy that has to go because his parents are destitute. But he is a guy that I just think it's going to be very clear. Michigan State's not going to have him for a long time. He's a great player. Coach, lastly, I want to talk to you when we talk about Michigan State basketball, and then what we're going to do is get you on later in the week to talk about the conference as a whole. We'll do that. We're just going to talk about the Spartans today, but I want to dig in with you on Izzo. Continues to be coaching at a very high level. I thought last year was the best coaching job he had done. You may remember a couple of years ago, I thought that was the best job that he had done. I think this one outdid it. Just because of how he had to handle so much off-the-court stuff. Is Izzo like a fine wine? Is he just getting better every year? And are you surprised at the continual metamorphosis of the Spartans Hall of Fame head coach?
Well, yeah, the fine wine analogy, that's exactly what I was going to say when you were talking about him. I think he's doing just an exceptional job. I think you look back at the course of the years prior to this year, last year, that you could see an edginess on the sidelines along with the players, and then I think in the last 4 or 5 years that edginess isn't there any longer, but there's more of a esprit de corps, a family attitude on the sideline. They pull with each other. You can see that on the sideline, and you've got to attribute that to Izzo and bringing in the right type of players, creating the right atmosphere in practice, the film room, everything like that. He's just doing a superb job, and I know he still gets pretty excited on the sideline. You can see that. There's nobody that I know of that can get his face as red as fast as he can and unread as fast as he can. It's fun to watch. But he does a great job coaching the kids up, and the kids hang together like no other in the history of Washington on the sideline. That is a really close-knit community that he's created there. He's done a fine job.
Totally agree. He's the one and only, the legendary State of Michigan high school football and basketball coach, the great Coach Chuck Grenier.